folks.
Yeah, cool. It looks like you're in the studio over there.
It's funny, man. I'm just in my bedroom. I flip my desk around against my curtains and
Perfect.
put my little tripod with my light on, and it looks really good. So,
Yep, some movie magic.
yeah, it's the art of deception, my friend.
Right on. Hey, so first of all, I just started recording with Matt Bingaman, or how do I pronounce that correctly?
Bingaman.
Bingaman. Okay, so I guess I didn't destroy it too bad. But anyway, hey Matt, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I mean, this is in a sense a milestone for me in the fact that I had been reaching out to other agents that I know personally, that I've done EXP events with, people that I do respect and think are good agents, and asking them to join the podcast with me. And everybody was kind of like very lukewarm about it, or just said no. And probably for about a year, I was chasing those same people around, and they were continuing to say no. So it just shows you, if you want to get something done, like, reach out to somebody who wants to meet you and actually help you, and wants to achieve the same thing you're looking to achieve. So thank you for joining me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's easy for me to say, oh, they didn't want to do it because they're soft or they're intimidated. Look, I'm with you. If you're running into a brick wall, I mean, stop, find a way around it, or go over the top, or dig a tunnel underneath. But don't keep running into the brick wall. And I think that kind of translates into, our business model and how we approach the sales and customer relations and listing presentations and dealing with buyers and internet leads. I mean, it's like, when it comes to real estate, like, after you get your license, if you're just starting out, welcome. But it's like trying to take a sip off of a fire hose that's just full blast.
Right.
There's so much to learn, so much coming at you, and it's really important that you kind of partner yourself with people that you want what they got, or you want to emulate, or you see their level of success. You see the car, the watch, the amount of sales they're doing. You're like, man, I want what you got. How do you do it?
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully someone's willing to take you in. And I kind of want to spin off on that, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Take the reins on that. So, my background is, I was a construction worker my whole life.
Me too.
Yeah, I was in the Carpenters Union. Also did a lot of like rig welding, pipeline welding, stuff like that. I was a welding contractor, and life changed for me, and so got into this. And my blue collar roots really just kind of taught me that if you want something, you just gotta work really hard. If you want to be, not just blend in, right? And like Seth Godin says it, and guys like Don Yoakum kind of talk about it too. Like, be exceptional, be extraordinary, stand out. Like, what differentiates you? I was listening to Ed Milet. I really like that guy, and he's talking about, like, people that are driven, they walk a little faster, they grind a little harder, they get up earlier, they go to bed later. They just have more intensity, and they're more decisive, and they're more specific about their actions and how they spend their time. And so it really comes down to a work ethic. And if being successful isn't a priority, well, I don't care if you're, whatever you're doing, you're not going to be good at it. So really, that's kind of like, my wife will tell you, like, I'm a lunatic, man. I just always grinding. And it's because I got goals, so yeah, I'll start rambling if I don't stop now.
Yeah. Very, very cool. Actually, I mean, it's funny. We both have that construction background, which is very interesting. But I guess it sort of makes sense if you're in construction. I mean, one of the things you probably build is homes. I worked on all kinds of construction, but I definitely did work on very nice luxury homes when I lived in the Bay Area. And I think when I bought my first home, I felt like I achieved my first major milestone in my life, and like having a piece of property that you can call your own. So that kind of brought me to want to be in real estate. And then just construction wasn't for me. I mean, here in Vegas, 100-degree plus weather all the time, carrying tools around, being in a stairwell with just dust everywhere. And still people yelling at you like you're not working hard enough or fast enough. So I was just like, okay, like, I got to change something. And I think you're right. You're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. and it is that can-do attitude to see where you want to go and get there. For me, it took me probably 10 years longer to get into real estate than I would have preferred or liked, but everything happens, in its due time. But so as far as obviously and I've been super motivated too. I'm just trying to actually now take a teeny bit more relaxed approach to it, because I realize like I don't want to be stressed all the time. And I realize actually for me, like I connect with people much better when I can be empathetic and slow down a little bit. So actually, I find it actually allows me to have fewer conversations, but connect more deeply, which helps me, I think, be more successful. So I'm kind of changing my path. But anyway, yeah, thank you for letting me know, a little bit about your background. And obviously we could go in a lot of different directions in this conversation, but I'd like to just ask you about your current deals and what's going on. If you're seeing any trends or any things that you commonly have to solve for people, tell me about the deals you have going on.
So yeah, I've got a couple getting ready to close. I'm actually going to cap in 30 days this year, which is pretty awesome. Got some really good deals going. I've got some troublesome clients that, everything's a fight with them. It's just, I hate to say it, but there's some clients that you just got to cut loose at some time. And, as a newer agent, I've only been licensed for a little over a year. I've done really well. Call it the market, I call it a perfect fit. The guy that got me into real estate flips homes for a living, and he's like, you really need to get into real estate. Anyways.
Well, yeah, you talk, you speak well, you're aggressive, but communicate, fantastically well. And that's kind of what I found with construction. I just didn't feel like I was a good match for the other people I was hanging around with.
Yeah.
I felt like their dreams and ambitions weren't big enough. And that's why I was motivated to, not that they were bad people, but that's why I was motivated to leave construction and get into real estate, something that had more opportunity.
Totally. So as far as deals I got right now, I got selling one of my listings. It's in contract for 6.75, and it's a contingent deal on a purchase. We got in contract at 9:39. We've since gotten I've gotten a $40,000 price reduction and a $5,000 credit for my clients on the purchase. Okay. This is a brand new build, by the way.
Okay. Oh, all right. And the price reduction is because the market's shifting, or how did you get such a big price reduction?
And I can't take all the credit for this, but I am going to take credit for this because the thing is as you know, it's with negotiations, it's almost like a game of Texas Hold'em. There's not a lot of times. There's really, really few words said at the negotiating table. But what you have to do, in my mind, what I do, and I've been very successful at this, is watching the cues. In this specific instance, we were in contract. We got it was contingent. We got the buyer's listing property in contract. It fell out, and I had it in contract the very next day with another buyer. And the listing agent on the property that we're purchasing put his property back active. And I said, hey, we're already back in contract. His posture was that he's got to do what's best for his client, so he's going to leave it active. That's a violation. I don't report people.
And again, this is a new build, or this is a resale?
Yeah, it's a private.
But they're private, but listed on the MLS.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, anyways, I don't really care. I don't tell people it's not how I was raised. It's not how I do business. But nonetheless, I don't do business that way. However, by that individual choosing to leave it active, obviously they're trying to get something to kick us out of contract because we weren't performing. Wouldn't serve me a notice to perform, also known as an MVP. And I told my clients, hey, we're giving them enough rope. They're going to hang themselves. Watch. Well, it came down to where, 14 days went by. We never got a notice to perform. So obviously no one's interested in that house. So that's when I started to apply the pressure and say, hey, we we're back in contract, but we're in contract with this. So if you want to continue to do this, Mr. Agent, we're going to need a $40,000 price cut right off the top.
Right, because you felt like there was a little lack of demand, and obviously these builders have been being greedy or maximizing their profit, depending on how you want to look at it. Obviously, they're in business to make a profit, but they have run up the prices obviously dramatically. So you saw a little slack in the line and thought maybe, hey, I can go to work for my client, do the extra, go the extra mile and get him a price reduction. Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know that at the end of the day, that builder, he's an independent builder, he needs his money back. And the market's shifting. And so putting all these things together, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, go get a price reduction for your clients. What are they going to say? No, they're the sellers. They can't cancel on us if you reach contract.
Right.
Again, I'm not an attorney and I don't practice law, but, that's just how my brain works. So I talked it over with my clients and they said, yeah, that's what we need. So I went to the agent, said, this is where we're at. Talk it over with your client. Talked it over with the client. We got it. And then shortly after that, we countered the buyer of the house we're selling and we got them up 30,000. So right there, I just made my client 70 grand and got him a $5,000 credit at close. I think the clients are fairly appreciative.
I would imagine. I would imagine.
If you listen to some of the conversations and some of the nitpicking they do, but more than anything, I'm not trying to get patted on the back. I know my worth, and that's really what it comes down to. So that's just kind of a little brief overview of one of the transactions I have.
And that, that's amazing. Obviously, whether they appreciate it or not, I do notice like generally out there. I mean, I think people are good, but a lot of people always feel like a victim or like they're getting the short end of the stick, no matter what happens.
It's perspective. It's perspective, and this is my thing. And my wife will tell me to shut up, but so a little bit about me. I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I used to fight, so I'm used to kind of getting my butt kicked and making excuses about the tough road. So when I hear people making excuses, I just laugh. I'm like, yeah, well, go ahead, stay down then, because I look at everything as I think. What was it? It was Marcus Aurelius said a quote about and I'll butcher it, but basically there's silver lining in everything. You take your worst tragedy, it's our responsibility to look for that silver lining. And it says something about, take everything as fruit. Basically use everything to your advantage. And that's what I do. I've lost deals because I've said the wrong thing or I've done the wrong thing or I've made the wrong move.
Which we all have, obviously. I mean, it's a competitive market, right? Yeah.
It sucks, but that's the price of the education.
Right. Yeah. I'm right there with you. Before I would take everything to heart and I, maybe get not depressed, but, feel terrible about it and just keep looping those negative emotions. And now, I don't know where I picked this up, but whatever happens to serve you. And what are the lessons you're going to pull from it and take away and make you better and stronger for the next run? And basically just essentially be like a duck. Water rolls off the back onto the next. It's a marathon. It's not like one particular instance is going to define who you are and your career. So it's like everything's a learning process.
100%. And that's the thing of growth, that you look at anything, like you talk to a weightlifter, you talk to anybody who's trying to become better, and this saying it holds true, without pain there can be no growth. So you have to experience that. And not to get down another rabbit hole, but I think us as a society, we're soft.
Yeah.
I see people come into my jiu-jitsu academy all the time, I played football in college, big strong dude, or got guys just come out of the service and they come in hot and they get sent home with the tail between their legs and they don't come back because it's an ego check, and a lot of grown men can't handle that. So all I would say is that just in general, this kind of a life lesson is just, be ready, because this world doesn't cater to your needs. It doesn't care.
Yeah. Well, and I train jiu-jitsu also. I'm a white belt, one stripe. And then I actually stopped because I broke my foot for the second time. And I was like, okay, maybe jiu-jitsu is not for me. But like in my mind, when I went to train at the professor's gym or the black belt who has his gym, he's a much smaller guy than I am. I'm 6'2", 210 pounds. You know, so I'm not huge, but I'm a pretty big dude. He's like probably 140. So in my mind, I'm going to smash him before, I go over there. And I realized it probably wasn't realistic. And then I get there and we're on the mat and like, yeah, like I nothing for this guy. He's like sweeping me and just like, tapping me, just like why he's like laughing essentially. So it's very humbling because in your mind you can build yourself up like you're some beast or some like conqueror. You think you're a superhero, and then you get on the mat. So it's really like down to earth. Like, no, here's the reality. Training and effort and time and skill is huge. So I think it's a great learning lesson for anybody who practices martial arts, jujitsu especially, because everything is real. It's live. It's not just katas and things like that.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, and that's kind of why I think I've done well. It's just because I've completely blown deals that were literally put in my lap. Like I did an open house, like one of my first open houses, and some people that came to the open house tried to hit up the listing agent for a double end deal, and she's like, "No, you need to hit up Matt." Mm-hmm. So she made them call me, and I stayed up. It took me like 4 hours to write my first RPA.
Ah, cool. Yeah.
On the old form.
Right. Well, everybody needs a mentor, right? And
right.
hopefully you had some help.
Then, I mean, your mentor's not going to be able to hold your hand, so it's you got to put in the time, get your reps in. So I wrote the earnest money for 2% because I was like, oh, this guy wants it, but I should have asked him, right? I didn't know. And so that's one of those things where I'll never forget, I didn't even know the guy's name. I remember the guy's name. I won't accept his calls anymore. But yeah, I mean, he's, since gone and got a house or whatever. But these are the kind of lessons that really kind of we hold on to, hopefully, and we learn from. I mean, I know myself is I try to always take my lickings and just keep moving forward with a positive attitude. And, as well as I do in real estate, sometimes you have good months, sometimes you have bad months. Over the end of the year, it's kind of maybe like a progression like this.
Right.
But you just got to stay strong and keep moving on the path. So, so that's kind of one little rabbit hole or one little direction we could go. And then I want to talk to you about another deal I have. So had another deal where it's still in contract right now. I think it's 8 3/4. They had all their inspections, and I, having a construction background. By the way, I did bridges, docks, wharfs, dams, a lot of rough carpentry.
Okay.
Not too much finished work, but I was walking around. It was a comp roof, and I was like, "Man, this roof is toast." You could just tell this roof is toast.
Interesting that you bring in a roof up because that's what I want to talk about. But okay, so the roof's in real bad condition.
I could see the weather side was just pretty bad, so they had all their inspection reports minus the roof, and I just told the guy, "Look, I'm not a roofing contractor. I'm not even licensed to make these calls, but I'll just be honest with you. I've done enough deals to know that roof's trash. Right. So let's get a roof inspector out there. Would they have the pest, the home, the septic? We know we need some septic work." Ended up getting them a $20,000 credit. And I think their closing costs were like $26K. So, again, pretty much hitting a home run for them. We have to run pretty tight timelines with, especially in the Bay Area market up here, it's mandatory 3% earnest money, and they're going to have all their inspections up. So they don't usually accept contingent offers as a kind of a standard operating procedure. Yeah, not in a hot market, right? Yeah. Right. So we went in, they had all their inspections, and we only put down 1% earnest money. And we are actually backup number one, but we were putting down like 45%, on our initial down payment, really strong purchasers. Anyways, so we did a 7-day inspection contingency. And as soon as we got into contract, we dispatched the roof inspector, got it looked at. And then pretty much everything else was waived. We still had appraisal because we couldn't get an appraisal waiver from the lender. So, but other than that, everything's going good. We're just waiting for, you got your addendum 1, right? That goes to title and the lender for like the credit. And then what we're having to do is do like addendum A for house repairs so that, the underwriter doesn't kick it back and like, well, what's this? Like, oh, the house isn't habitable? Oh, no, no.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You don't want to ever show them the SRPD or the inspection report or any of that stuff. Yeah,
and that's stuff that a lot of people aren't talking about, Ken. And like, you look at these other people talking about, real estate and stuff. Like, I want to dig down on exactly like these transactions because there's some pretty well-known real estate podcasters and they don't talk about day-to-day transactions. They just fluff up how good their program is and how they want you to buy their package. I'm not selling anything,
right?
Other than houses.
Yeah.
You want me to sell your house? Hit me up. I got you. If you're in Northern California, I'm your guy. But
right, yeah. Well, obviously, the business. It seems like you work hard to represent your clients. I mean, like actively represent them. And I think that's really important. It's funny, actually, I have a deal going on right now. We got past the roof issue, but the inspector came in, said the tile roof was past its life expectancy, which was kind of new to me, honestly, because to my understanding, these Spanish tile roofs are like forever roofs. Generally there's some cracks or broken tiles, but I haven't heard a lot about people completely replacing them. But I guess, with COVID and inflation and they said they couldn't actually get the home insured because the roof, they were saying the roof was too old, even though this roof was immaculate in perfect condition. So of course we got a contractor out there, we got a roof estimate. They went for the estimate for the total removal of all tiles, which seems like a shame, but throwing all those tiles away, putting the building paper back, new building paper, and then retiling the roof. It was $22,000.
It's pretty cheap, man. We're paying 30 G's for a comp roof up here.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's another thing. But yeah, we got them a $10,000 or $11,000 price reduction. Like they were like, hey, now we're over our budget. And I'm like, well, okay, the market, there's multiple offers because we did get shot down on probably 3 or 4 offers that we put in. But, I said, hey, bottom line, give me a price reduction that you're comfortable with, that if we can get it, that you're okay moving forward. And if we don't get it, then we're going to cancel and we're going to go back to the drawing board. So we went to bat for them, got that price reduction. But I think for the broader sense, for the audience, roof age is a concern. Make sure that you can get insurance. Budgeting more than ever now, I think, is really important as prices go up, insurance prices go up. The company that rejected them was Progressive. So they could have got actually insurance with Farmers, but they wanted to be extra cautious. But because who knows what insurers are going to change their policies and what's going to happen in the future. So I think they took the safe route and they're just going to replace the roof when they move in. But yeah, I think roofing issues is a big concern. And it's, as an agent and as a buyer, you need to be very aware of it. But so, hey, I think we've been like talking for almost a half an hour, and I'm sure you and I could just like talk forever because we're passionate about real estate. It's amazing. And maybe we'll talk about some more deals next time we meet because there was a few things I didn't get to that I want to talk about. But just in your business, I mean, are you trying to grow your team? Are you trying to just be a solo agent? What's your goals for your team? And
yeah, thanks, Ken. I really appreciate that. So yeah, big picture here is I've done pretty well, got a pretty good name, and I've got a brokerage that's I kind of helped sponsor to get into EXP, and they're real excited because they're kind of more in the foothill area, and things run at a slower pace, and so the goal is definitely. Oh,
yeah, we just lost you for a second there on the camera.
Yeah, someone was calling my phone, so it goes over.
Yeah.
So I'm just definitely trying to grow it. I'm not having a problem getting leads, not having a problem getting deals. A lot of times I'm having to pass those off anyways. I look at the benefits of EXP is great. health insurance, stock options, just unlimited training. I mean, look at where we're at. We're in a digital society.
Yeah,
so
we are.
why not go with the one that's already set up? You know, I can, just like how you and I met, I had some really good clients of mine, and I looked you up through our workplace, which is our Facebook for EXP, and found you that you also had a Zillow profile, and looked you up, and I was like, oh, I trust him with my clients because
Thank you.
you know, and so that's how I found him. So when I look at the big picture of what I want to do is, yeah, I'd like to stay, you know, no more than like 4 deals a month. That's probably max for now, this year maybe, and eventually get some younger agents in to kind of take over. And I'd like to get into kind of more into like the passive side of real estate as I get older.
Right, get some time freedom.
Yeah,
right.
Totally. I don't mind doing deals, but you know, I try and stay away from like FHA deals and really low dollar deals, because those things are like, I won't even ever do a mobile home again. It was so much work.
Right.
Or modular. It's just there's so much work for just pennies and peanuts. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Very cool. Yeah, I know for myself, I mean, I guess the most deals I've ever had is like 13 or 14, something like that, which, you know, pretty good. It was years ago, but for myself, it's really actually just about not being stressed. You know, most of my real estate career, and I've been doing it for about 15, 16 years now, was spent in with a lot of stress and just, you know, way more so than necessary. Made a lot of sacrifices of my personal time. Didn't go on vacation or go away. I'd always tell people like, hey, I don't have any kids, so this is my baby. And then everybody's like, oh, you shouldn't work so hard. And then but they were like, but after my deal is done. I'm like, yeah, of course. So my thing is, I only want to work like 2 or 3 transactions so I can give them my full attention. I love real estate. I just don't want to overdose on it or be burnt out. I want to like show up, be clear-minded, communicate with my clients, give them the full attention that they need and deserve, just so I can really, you know, be on top of those deals. As far as a team, I see so many videos out there, you know, how to get Facebook leads and how to get Instagram and this lead and that lead. And I'm like, the leads are not the problem. I think the communication with the clients is the most important thing. And then just the nuts and bolts of the real estate transaction, addendums, offers, due diligence, what happens if the appraisal comes in low, and then all the little nuances, the things that you're going to learn over time. But yeah, my thing is right now, yes, I think EXP is obviously the very best model out there. There's like a Warren Buffett quote. He said, you know, it's not necessarily the how hard you work. It's the size of the opportunity that you plug into or invest in. And I do think EXP is the very best opportunity that I have ever seen in my 16 years in real estate. So I just want to bring more people into the business, people that already have a good record of communication. They have maybe sports in their background, like you have jujitsu, some, you know, outgoing people, and just mentor them. And let's see, hold on, I might have. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I dropped your Zoom for a second. But just mentor them, bring them along. I think there's so much opportunity at EXP, but in real estate in general for investing, buying their own homes, finding deals, flipping homes. I mean, just, you know, it's a beautiful industry. And, you know, right now I just want to bring 2 or 3, you know, maybe 1 to 3 really good candidates, give them the leads, give them the training, essentially just teach them everything they need to know, and then watch them, you know, grow. And hopefully I'll find somebody like yourself who just comes into the business and just like immediately gets it and knows how to show value. So essentially
that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, for a guy that's it took me maybe almost a year to do my, you know, 1 or 2 deals. So it sounds like you like shot out of a cannon. and that's impressive. But you know, that work ethic, like you said, is driving you. So that's amazing.
Yeah. I think final thought here is, and I'd love to, catch another one of these maybe next week, but everybody's journey is their own. I really like what you said about communicating with clients. It's very important. I have found in a sales situation that you take the time and actively listen to what your client is telling you.
Definitely.
So important. If you're just going to have verbal diarrhea, they're going to go find someone else.
Right.
Shut your mouth, open your ears, and try to help them. That is all you're there to do. You know what I mean? That's what I would tell newer agents is just don't listen. Don't worry about what you got going on. Worry about them. All your attention needs to be on helping them. So figure out what it is. And that goes for when a listing presentation, if they're having objections, you have to find out why. What is it? Get down to it and see how you can help them. That's all it is. Right.
I fully agree. I think not enough people come with service. It's almost cliche to say it, but it's so true. Like, very few people like, hey, how was your day? And legitimately want to listen to you and, encourage you and be like, oh, that's great, man. I'm so happy for you. And I think a lot of people do that in their real estate careers too. It's like, do you want to sell? Do you want to sell? Do you want to buy? No. All right, get out of my way. On to the next. And like you said, you gotta listen. You really gotta pay attention. So yeah, I think that's very well said.
Yeah, 100%. So well, actually, Ken, I got to run about 5 minutes late. I think the person that called me was my what was it, 12:30 appointment. So it's been great. Let's do this again soon.
Yeah, I think it's excellent. Again, thank you for joining me. Like this is in my mind, it's been in the works for probably a year and a half, 2 years. And thanks for just stepping up and just be like, yeah, let's do it. That's again,
I
it's amazing.
Love to shoot content. So if you ever want to give me a call after, we'll set up some talking points because I think there's a ton of value in this. Maybe we could direct some stuff towards the consumers as well. Maybe we could set it up to talk about, maybe an educational piece for buyers or sellers or, new agents. I think there'd be a ton of value in that because I think that's the overall goal here is to just give this away to add value to people's lives. That's always been my goal in this industry. So
absolutely raise awareness for both buyers, sellers, but also agents who are looking to take their careers to the next level. So I agree. All right, Matt. Hey, again, thank you. I know we're both busy, so we'll sign off for now. And but yeah, we'll get together in the next few days and plan our next podcast.
All right, thanks, Ken. Have a great day.
All right, you too. All right, buddy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.